What's up, everybody? Got a great show for you guys today. Now, if you haven't watched the last one with Ty Isaac, we previewed Ohio State, Michigan, the big blowout that happened. Michigan kicked their ass. Go blue. Ty Isaac was happy about that. If you haven't gone and checked out that episode, go ahead and check it out. But I'm Micah. Man, this Pacers rookie, man. Rookies just be saying anything, man. It's rookie for the Pacers, Benedict Mathurin or something. I probably butchered his last name, but he came out and said he's the best player in the league. And going against LeBron tonight, LeBron's going to have to show him he's better than him tonight. What are your thoughts on that kind of comment from a rookie?
Feel like there's some clickbait. Ain't nobody asked him his opinion.
They gonna love this one.
Right. Ain't nobody really go out their way to ask him that. So, I don't really buy into it personally.
Shit, hopefully LeBron dropped 30 on his ass tonight.
But hey, for you fantasy guys out there, Benny Snell looking like he might be a late addition. I don't know if Najee was dinged up or what, but he's looking really impressive running the ball against a tough Colts defense.
Shit, that's something to keep a lookout on. I mean, I picked up Samaje Perine this week after Mixon
That was
was
a good
out.
pickup. How'd you get him so quick?
It was in our league. It's in my little target league.
They don't be waiver wiring watching.
Oh no, nah, they be ready in that. This dude, his league, his team name is Deshaun Watson's massage parlor or something. He got Deshaun Watson on the team. He ready to start him this week. That's something else we're gonna get into in this episode. So, are you ready to get into the episode?
I mean, yeah, why not?
Let's get into it. We got the Big Ten experts, Jacob and Julian Huff, our other brothers, played at
Big Ten analysts.
One of the biggest games of college football. Anticipation was there, but Michigan clapped their ass. What were your thoughts on the game?
It wasn't what I expected. I expected Ohio State to have a solid passing game, do what they want like they have in years past. But credit to Michigan, man. They went out there and they're no longer the little brother, in my opinion. They've proven that they can beat them year over year. Harbaugh's proven he can beat them. And now they're talking about Urban coming back. We'll see if that happens.
So. Urban.
Hey, it's like Star Wars, it's got to be a yin into a yang. We got to balance the scales and come back.
Yeah.
But I called that shit, didn't I, Micah? You got my take, right?
Yeah, we got to say
shit. I saw this shit coming because obviously Ohio State's defense, has been tested all year against Maryland, against some of these teams that they shouldn't have. And they've not covered in games late just because of giving up touchdowns against Penn State. And I knew Michigan was going to come in a lot similar like they did last year and try to impose their will, but you've seen them scheme plays to beat those one-on-one coverages that they got because they were so heavily invested in stopping the run. And shit, them play calls was fantastic. Niggas was wide the fuck open. So hats off to the offensive coordinator. But shoot, yeah, I think Jim Harbaugh, is Michigan the favorite to win it all? Oof. Outside of Georgia, are they the dark horse to take it from them?
I don't know if they can beat Georgia.
We've also seen Georgia struggle this year.
Michigan looked like a very well-rounded team versus Ohio State, and that's a big-time game with big-time eyes on it, I'm definitely not away from the idea of them going in and, holding their own versus Georgia. Georgia has seen the struggle in games before. So has Michigan versus Illinois. But at the same time, man, when you put the lights on, it's all about who shows up, and Michigan showed up. So, we'll see what's going to happen.
Yeah, we're not talking about show up either. They blew their ass the fuck out. I know Blake Corum is blue like, damn, I could have had 200 yards.
Yeah, like if Edwards had a game.
And a Heisman.
If he's healthy, he gets the Heisman.
Still go get the Heisman, in my opinion, because Purdue can't stop the run. They are patently terrible at that. So he's going to rush for 400 yards against them. But we'll see. I think this is the end of the SEC era. Give me Michigan over Georgia any day.
I do like Michigan over Georgia. I like JJ over my man's in Georgia, even though he's
Stetson
more
Bennett?
proven. Even though he's more proven, but some balls he was throwing last week. I mean, damn. I think that was always going to be the biggest gap was the quarterback play between Ohio State and Michigan, and I feel like he's closing the gap with JJ, but shit, he still ain't obviously nowhere near Ohio State in quarterback play, but he's definitely getting closer.
Yeah, it was a great performance by JJ, and the run game was always there last year, but then you didn't see the passing attack like we saw this week. So it was great for Michigan. But with Ohio State losing, could they possibly still get in the playoff?
And they're saying there's still a 60% chance.
Well, that would mean
Chance?
USC's got to lose and TCU's got to lose, right? Or if Michigan loses to Purdue, then no Big Ten team is going to make it in the playoff.
If Michigan loses to Purdue, I think
up.
they could get in. But yeah, if their one loss is against the number one ranked team and Georgia loses, like who knows what happens?
You can't pick strength of schedule over a champion. No, you win the Pac-12, you deserve to be in the playoff.
Oh yeah, all the a Pac-12 champion, if all USC wins the Pac-12, they're going. Oregon wins the Pac-12, they're not going though. Or who's
USC just lost to Oregon State, so no.
The odds are looking at it like out of all these 4 teams, these 4 championship games, one of these teams is likely to lose out of all 4. But I don't think that's going to happen.
If we were the selection committee right now, who would be the 4 teams that are getting in?
The 4 most deserving are Georgia, Michigan, TCU, and with the Pac-12 championship, I would say USC. I mean, those are the 4 deserving teams, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The only way Ohio State gets in is if TCU loses.
Which TCU, I think, is going to be that's going to be the game that's going to be the closest, in my opinion, for the championship weekend, because they got to play Kansas State. Kansas State they have upset teams already this year, and they've played everybody really well, and they just bust Kansas ass. So,
and Kansas had their quarterback back too in that game.
Exactly. So, that's an upset alert. Ohio, I think Utah, USC. I think USC wins that. They were winning that entire game. So I'm going to go Georgia, Michigan. TCU loses. USC gets in. And we have 2 Big Ten teams in the top 4 for the first time in the college football playoff history.
I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad. But would you be able to make an argument for 2 SEC teams as well? Alabama possibly getting in if a couple more teams lose. Shit happens this weekend.
Alabama lost to LSU, who just lost to Texas A&M, which was a 4-win team, and they have 2 losses. And Ohio State has their only losses to the second best team in the nation.
Yeah, there's no other team in the SEC. Now that we talk more about it, I think that the likelihood of Ohio State getting in is much higher, because you fuck around and Utah beats USC, which is very possible, because USC is not by any stretch of the imagination an unbeatable team. And then TCU as well. They've struggled as well. I'm not really sure who they play.
They got Kansas State.
That's right. Kansas State, the ghost of Bill Schneider can get in that bitch.
That shit could get dicey. I love that as an upset, though. I will say that.
Shit, keep an eye on that one.
for
And
sure.
There's nothing sure about the Pac-12 or the Big 12, considering
Yeah,
that
you can fucking flip a coin for those divisions. Though they just cannibalize themselves. Everybody beat everybody every game. A 13-point underdog comes back and wins by a field goal and shit. It's entertaining. Those two leagues are my favorite to watch, if I'm being honest.
if you're
But
up to see them, they be at 9:30 at night and
right,
shit.
that should be lit though. Pac-12 after dark. Caleb Williams, bro, have you seen him play? He is Mahomes Jr. I
He's
kid you
nice.
not.
What you
Yes,
think
he
about his
is that.
fingernails though?
Yeah,
I mean,
Caleb
it's
Jr.
the new
Yeah, Caleb
wave.
Williams
Like
is
he like
dope.
the Uzi Vert of football. Hey, you can't knock him. Shit.
Yeah, let the
Kamara
man
had
live.
the nose piercing. These guys are rock stars. So look at fucking Aaron Rodgers taking ayahuasca and shit.
Well,
Let them live in their truth.
Caleb Williams has been playing at a high level. So
he's the Heisman Trophy winner.
Is he the Heisman Trophy winner then? We talked a little about Blake Corum. It's got to be him, I think.
It depends on the championship game. If Corum goes out there and rushes for 80 yards and and USC wins in memorable fashion and dude throws for 350 yards, you got to get it. That's what this is going to come down to. I mean, what I'd be interested to see if they both have really good games, who's going to get it. I'd like to think you give it to the better team, which is Michigan. So you give it to Corum, but and it sucks and it also hurts Corum that he didn't play in the best game. You know what I mean? Those committee guys want to see him playing versus Ohio State. So that's a factor as well. So you just never know. But it's going to come down to this last game.
Caleb Williams had a good game, and they won the game. But at the same time, there's nobody that's just undisputed. The last person to go undisputed was Joe Burrow in terms of the Heisman race. And that's just no fun, like nobody's really taking it. It's just a default situation.
Well, I will have to disagree with that. I think this year Caleb Williams literally, albeit late in last second effort, literally in 1 week took over as the Heisman Trophy winner. Because you look at Blake Corum got hurt at the worst possible time, and not only that, his backup ran for 200 yards. So that Heisman should go to the offensive line if we want to be clear right now. So that's one to take. Caleb Williams the very same week dominates against Notre Dame, and then LSU loses. Bama's out, so their Heisman frontrunners out of it. Ohio State loses to Michigan, and that he was obviously the Heisman frontrunner quarterback out of there. So literally in 1 week, he went from 3 or 4 on the list to number 1, almost a clear cut. I think he might get most of the views, the votes, especially if he dominates in the Pac-12 championship.
So I think he will. He'll probably dominate in that game.
Well, this is kind of getting a little bit off subject, but as we go into the transfer portal era, and we start to see the unveiling of or the residuals of the difference in what the transfer portal brings to college football, I think that you really start to see a balancing between a lot of the Goliaths of the past, the Alabamas and the USCs and everybody in college football who just stop everybody else, and you have a very top-heavy league, which some might argue makes for a hell of a playoff towards the end. But I truly think you're starting to see. When's the last time we saw Alabama go into? First of all, when was the last time we saw Alabama not make the SEC championship, let alone have 2 losses? When's the last time we saw? When's the last time we saw this many 2-loss teams or 1-loss teams in the conversation? Michigan is undefeated and Georgia's undefeated. Who else?
I think this is having sort of an adverse effect. This may be a crazy concept, but just stay with me.
Well, listen.
It's the transfer portal. You know, what have we always said? What have we always said about Alabama in years past, that it's, or the SEC, that it's top heavy, you know? And we look at the Big Ten this year, and they're top heavy as hell. Like, who's better than Alabama and Michigan? And they are that much better by a mile in the Big Ten. Like, there's no question about that. That's how the SEC was for a lot of years. And the transfer portal, when you got so many players on roster, you got guys leaving to go to other SEC teams, go to other Big 12 teams. It's a big, more of so melting pot. The Big Ten isn't really like that. If you're, a Illinois, Purdue, and you got transfer guys, those guys are going to other top programs. Those guys are going to your UNIs, NIUs. They're going to.
I disagree.
They're not getting top talent. You see what I'm saying? They're not getting those 4 stars, 3 stars. These guys are leaving and not going to better programs. So that's making the Big Ten. That's making the Big Ten more top heavy. Like I said, it's a crazy concept, but
I'll give you one name, Bucky Irvin. You know Bucky Irvin because you're a Minnesota guy. Bucky Irvin was 3rd string. He was a 4-star in Minnesota. PJ Fleck got him up.
He was not 3rd string, and that just proves my point more.
I'll prove it. He had Trayson Potts in front of him, who was 2nd string, and then he had Momo, who was in front of him, who was hurt that year. And the only reason why he got any playing time was because Momo was hurt. Then he figured out, all right, I'm actually better than this shit. And then goes to Oregon the next year, fucking rushes for over 1,000 yards. This year, starters, balling.
Okay,
so that shit happens all the time, and I think you're sort of misguided.
What other program?
Perception.
What other program in the Big Ten?
Yeah, you're throwing dirt on the Big Ten's name. I'm gonna be honest.
No. But it's
come on now, y'all the Big
Ten. Maryland got Tua from Alabama, and now he's the.
That was before the transfer portal.
It's not.
That was when we were playing.
It was still very early. That nigga's still playing though.
No,
that was at the very. That was right before it though. That shit was bubbling already. That shit was getting ready to already start. I'll give you Buck and Irvin, but that shit is not happening to any other lower of the totem pole Big Ten program. They got a good guy, Bucky Irvin, and he was a freshman. Of course, he was 3rd string. He was behind 2 starting running backs, but he played most of that year, and he ended up leaving because of NIL money. And Minnesota is not paying guys NIL money. Most of the Nebraska
Big Ten is not paying guys NIL
Nebraska got Texas's quarterback once they got their 5-star.
Oh yeah, Casey Thompson.
Yeah, ain't nobody got more NIL money than Nebraska. They just got
players. They got money.
Nebraska is another exception, but they don't even have a fucking coach. All right, and
they just hired
Fields went to Ohio State from Georgia.
They just
hired my man's from Carolina.
That rule. Yeah, and he ain't gonna do nothing there either.
He's gonna turn that shit right around, bro. He turned around Temple and Baylor immediately.
That's what they said about fucking who's the Scott Frost guy.
Scott Frost only turned around one program, and that program was already cooking.
Game while he was there.
But they've always been good though.
He beat Ole Miss in the fucking Cotton Bowl.
They still think they're the natty champions. They still think they still got the national champion ring.
They beat Auburn that year. They were hooping, and then same thing has the same narrative of the Big Ten West. Everybody comes to Big Ten West because we got big name schools, and people think they can just come in and just turn the fucking program around and think they can just start winning. It shit doesn't work like that. Just because you're the most highly talented coach or most highly sought after coach in the world, you think
that Purdue coach turned Purdue around. Same thing in Illinois.
So just because they make the Big Ten championship doesn't mean he turned them motherfuckers around. Them niggas lost the Iowa.
That's true.
Purdue has been competing year after year.
It always upsets them.
But that's the point. That's my point. Everybody's
upset
competitive in the
somebody.
Big Ten West. That's why it's the hardest place to win. I mean, you don't have Michigan, or you don't get recruits that Michigan gets or Ohio State gets. But I would argue that everybody is very equally yoked in the Big Ten West. That's why. You got
y'all
teams,
all look the same, similar recruiting.
You got teams like Purdue making the Big Ten championship off a fucking coin flip decision with everybody having 4 losses.
Everybody got the same record.
That's
Literally
true.
everybody has the same record.
As a coach, there's no harder place to coach than the Big Ten West with the talent that is equally pooled. And another factor that adds to my point is there's not guys in the South scratching at the door to come to the Big Ten West. These guys are from the South. Where's most of the great athletes come from? The South or Ohio or California. Those guys are staying in fucking warm weather. They're not coming to the Big Ten West. The only place they're going is Michigan, Ohio State.
They will for the bag.
That's the only place they're going.
That's the beauty of NIL is everybody.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody.
USC
right now,
literally paid to be in the
for
top
maybe.
4.
I don't know this to be true, but there's nobody in the West except for maybe North Nebraska who is paying NIL money.
They're gonna have to adapt to NIL, or else they're gonna be left behind.
How?
What do you mean how? These are still. They have resources. They still have donors.
Yeah,
they still have a crazy alumni.
They're not gonna. They don't have the resources to pay players yet.
That's not even the point. Motherfuckers get mustard and car washes and shit. It ain't got to be the express that the niggas at Ohio State got. They in express commercials and shit.
That's
for major brands.
That's what all these SEC guys are getting though. They're not coming up here to get a fucking free Jimmy John sandwich.
Some places you gonna be good. That's it though. It's the reality of it. But guess what?
Well, I mean,
USC and UCLA are coming to the Big Ten too, and them niggas cashing motherfuckers out. What Caleb Williams' net worth is? He probably worth 10 M's at this point.
Yeah, that's gonna add something to it for sure. And
you act like the NIL you act like the NIL isn't a free market. I don't necessarily believe it's about the school. Well, the school has something to do with it, but if they
got resources and connections.
If you're playing well, if you're a fucking Heisman candidate, like, I mean, you're going to get NIL money, and that money is going to be earned just like any other free market system in the world. You got to earn that shit. You know,
and it's like, it's a free marketplace.
All right, perfect example. This nigga Dakotas Crawford or whatever his name is from Nebraska.
Got an
HVAC company.
Got an HVAC company, but I promise you, the money not gonna keep coming in if niggas not on the field.
That's true. Another guy, I love him to death, Mo Ibrahim. He was a Heisman candidate early on in the season. How much did he get paid?
Where was he a Heisman candidate at?
Not that
much. Where was he a Heisman candidate at?
Yeah, it was noticed by us. This podcast that he was.
He was in the running. He was in the running early on in the season. Had y'all been paying attention, which y'all wasn't.
But we looked at, Matt Rule, Luke Fickell coming in to the Big Ten West. Which hire is the best hire out of these two teams, you think?
I think Luke Fickell is really going to struggle, man. I mean, they built a culture of winning based off of running the football, playing defense, and listening to Barry Alvarez. And if Luke Fickell doesn't abide by the Godfather himself, Barry A. I mean, he's going to turn into the same thing the Illinois coach did. He'll have the first apple in a roadmap out of there. And it's going to take time. They're going to have to recruit a really good quarterback that can throw. I mean, they have a really good quarterback at Cincinnati. But it's going to take time to completely change an entire system. I mean, I've seen it firsthand. You can look at how comparable Minnesota is compared to where Wisconsin is now. And when we went through a coaching change and we brought in a pass heavy, an offensive heavy system into Minnesota, took a couple years for us to actually start seeing wins. I mean, one would argue that we still haven't arrived, but I mean, we're talking about Minnesota here.
Well,
Yeah,
I think
we got PJ Fleck in house. We had fullbacks, tight ends. You know what I mean? Wisconsin right now has 25 tight ends on scholarship. You know what I mean? You can't run a spread offense with that. Yeah, you can't run a spread offense with that type of situation. I don't think Barry Alvarez would allow them to bring in a spread offense just because he still has his hand in his kind of influence on the program.
Then why hire him? You know what I mean? Like
because he's a winner, he's a leader. You know, you can hire an offensive coordinator who can come in and still run that same pro style offense and still be successful.
Right.
But that's my biggest question is he going to bring in the spread offense? And I don't think he will.
Yeah, I think that would have been one of the check marks that he would have had to check, because the reality is, if you're you have to build your scheme on where you gonna shine the most in your recruiting. The Midwest is obviously fertile for O-line specifically, so you got to build your scheme around that. You've seen what Minnesota did and how they're able to punish people with their offensive line. Wisconsin the same way for decades now.
Yeah, that's what my point. You're throwing a wrench into the entire system. Every single really good running back that Wisconsin has ever had is not from the Midwest. Jonathan Taylor was from New Jersey. Fucking Melvin Gordon, I think, was from Texas. All these niggas are from
Melvin Gordon from Wisconsin.
So my point is, you're just throwing away decades of an established culture of running the ball. People go to Wisconsin because they know they're going to get 35 carries a game. And offensive linemen go there because they know they're going to get drafted second round. It's just a given, especially if you're a guy. So I mean, I just really think you're throwing a wrench in the whole system, and you're gonna have some. You're just dividing the house, in my opinion. But I'm all here. I'm here for it. I mean, I'm a Minnesota guy, so I mean that just means more years of the Axe being and where it belongs.
Shit, can't be mad about that. But let's switch over to the NFL. Talk some NFL now. Sadly, the Bears took the L, and it was very dramatic, and it was a tough loss. But it brings a question. Mike White played very well. Will Zach Wilson ever take another snap in a Jets uniform?
I mean, I think
Mike White
answered that question.
Mike White was pretty out there. You see that wink he gave the camera right before halftime? Come on, man. He was out there like a superstar.
Yeah, I mean, Mike White's track record isn't really that good when he's being cocky and shit. Remember the last time he threw 3 touchdowns and 350 yards passing. Subsequently, the next week he went on to have a 3-to-1 interception to touchdown ratio.
Yeah, he had like 4 picks against the Bengals, I think. Or he had somebody
next week. Yeah, threw 4 or 5 picks after he said he should have got drafted first overall. I mean,
right. I mean, he should probably be playing 7-on-7 against that Bears defense. I mean, good God, we are horse shit. So that's not even a good measuring stick. Zach Wilson would have went crazy against the Bears too, which is why I would have thought they would have played him, because this is a game where this is a tune-up game.
Get your confidence back.
This is exactly what you need. Because not only are we not going to rush the passer, everybody going to be wide open. So, shit, it's going to be a long game.
And
everybody was wide open.
I could have went out there and threw 50 yards.
So I would hold my breath on that shit. Who they got next? They finna play some.
They played Minnesota. They
I
played the
watched-
Buffalo Bills. They got a tough schedule coming up soon.
Oh, you
I
might as well
watched
get
the
the
Bears.
turnover chain for that Vikings game. Get your
I
turnover
watched the
chain
Bears
ready.
for 3 drives straight. Nobody on the defensive line gave a pass rush move.
How many third downs did
For
they
3
have? I
drives
mean,
straight.
fuck.
Nobody had a single pass rush move.
They put 34 up on us with
We didn't have a
Matt
single
White.
sack. I've been a huge proponent. If you look at the stats, I don't know, I'm not an analytics guy, but if you look at the stats for team defenses that do not produce a sack in the entire game, I bet you 99 out of 100 times that team loses.
I mean,
Man,
if you
since we
don't rush
traded
the pass, you don't get
Roquan
nothing.
and what's my
Robert Quinn.
man's Robert Quinn, we've given up 49, 35, 31, 27, 31.
But hey,
Just
I
been getting
think
our
though
ass blown the
trading
fuck out.
Roquan Smith away though, look at what Jack Sanborn has been doing. 43 tackles and Roquan Smith has had like 20 tackles since the trade. But I think Jack Sanborn, you give away Roquan Smith, a great piece for the defense, and you let Jack Sanborn play. I mean, he's been balling out.
I
I mean,
don't
tackles
agree.
only tells a part of the story, though. And Roquan is still learning the new system. Like he just got there. Hey, how you want him to be understand that shit, calling defense and knowing what the offense is doing?
I mean, he want that kind of money. So yeah.
I mean, I think
Honestly,
he's
they're
balling.
trading.
He's made an immediate impact.
Yeah.
But them trading for Roquan just doesn't make any fucking sense to me at all. Like, they have Patrick Queen already. They already have an already established defense. Like they should have got a DB or something for what they gave up, in my opinion.
That
If you're
secondary
really
been getting
comparing
hit.
apples to apples, I mean, and if you think about it, he's not a needle moving guy. If he was a needle moving guy, then we would be fucking winning. But he's not. And we wouldn't be giving up 28 points a game or whatever crazy number that is. I mean, like,
Yeah,
you
tackles
want
don't mean
guys
a
like
goddamn
Luke
thing.
Kuechly, who literally reads defense, reads the offensive playbook before every game. Like, he knows that shit by like the back of his hand, and he can stop the pass at will. Like, guys like Darius Shaq Leonard, who can force a turnover, was liable to force a turnover at any given point in time in the game. Like, that's
We can't get too high and heavy on Jack Sanborn. I'm sorry. You can't get happy.
I mean,
you can't get happy about a middle linebacker doing what he's supposed to do. He's there to make the play. He's there to make the play. He's got to make the play. You know what I mean? It's 10 tackles and we lose by 30. Come on now. Like, yeah, that's cool and all, but tackles don't mean anything. You know, if we're talking turnovers, we definitely, the turnovers mean something. Pass deflections mean something. QB rushes, QB pressures, sacks mean something. Tackles don't mean anything. And tackles don't mean anything, especially when you tackle them 10 yards downfield.
To me, the middle linebacker job has been reduced to playing hard,
Running sideline to sideline and playing all 3 downs.
Yeah, just hustling. But it also is a point to say that you are still the quarterback of the defense, and you are responsible for knowing everybody's responsibility, and you got to be able to voice that. And Jack Sanborn doesn't seem like that kind of cat. He just seems like a very shy individual. I mean, I could be wrong, but you want a guy that will get in somebody's ass, because if you're getting 10 tackles a game, that's not good. I mean, if we're being honest, there's only 6 or 7 gaps in a run play. I shouldn't be getting all fucking tackles.
Yeah, like 15 the last game. So
that is true, but
and you got guys hopping out of the gaps. I mean, that's a problem. Now,
nobody on the defense is above reproach. when you're giving up 30+ points. Nobody.
Exactly.
No, not one player.
Run defense is extremely black and white. It's extremely black and white. Either you are in your gap or you are not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
On your fucking responsibility. Let's just say like a read option.
Gap
option.
integrity.
Either you have your gap or you don't. And it's really that simple. You have a gap, that's it. So that's why it's like, I mean, that's the bare minimum to me. It's like you're getting your gap. All right, that's what you're supposed to do. I mean, shit, I can go out there and do that like literally right now, get my gap and not get thrown around. But what are you doing while you're in that gap? Are you leading others to make sure that they're in their gaps and so forth? So I still believe you stop the run, you can win the Super Bowl in this day and age, just because it's not lost on me how important running the ball is.
You can't stop the run. You damn sure can't stop the pass because you're committing Gabo guys to the run, and now play action niggas are just eating you alive because it's just one-on-one.
Yeah, it's the bare minimum. Yeah, because you stop the run versus the Chiefs, they're still gonna win the Super Bowl.
oh hell yeah, of course. Yeah, that's for sure the exception to the rule.
But now looking at Justin Fields, him not playing this last week, we saw Trevor Seaman play this week. So this next week, though, y'all ain't see people calling it. They're like, I want Trevor Seaman play this week. But now, Fields, should he be shut down for the rest of the year, or should we let him play this week or the next couple of weeks? What you think?
I think you sit Fields the rest of the season, if I'm being quite frank with y'all.
It depends on the severity of his injury. Who the fuck knows? I ain't no doctor. I mean, like, is this something that is going to impact his long-term health? Then sit his ass till he's healthy. And if that's the whole season, that's the whole season. But if it's not, he's still a young quarterback. He still hasn't seen everything that he's going to see in this league. So the more reps he can get, more live reps he could get, the better he's going to be for next year. It's up to him to be smart with his body. He's gotten a little bit better with this, but he's got to avoid certain hits at sometimes. Like I get it. He want to run niggas over to score, but he did. That was a big collision.
Yeah, it was.
When he decided to make that move.
The other dude got a concussion.
Right. Like, come on now. Our franchise, one of the best quarterbacks in 4 games we've ever seen in this league, cannot be taking hits like that, because it's gonna impact the length of his career.
Yeah.
But that hit could have been made by any quarterback. I mean, he was running out of bounds. That could have happened to any quarterback.
Yeah, but when it continues and it's a pattern, you got to make an adjustment.
I don't subscribe. I don't subscribe to that. I think you want to keep a quarterback healthy. You want to protect them, but look, you want to protect all your players. And then you got your running back out there too. I know that's not very comparable, but still, it's like the play. You can't go out to a football game being worried about injury. You just can't do that. You cannot play football that way. It's not designed that way. You got to make the plays and calls designed to win the game. Not worried about whether or not this guy gets hurt or not. I'm sorry. I don't subscribe to that mindset where, you got to protect the quarterback. No, you got to get your motherfucking quarterback to win the game. It's not the other way around.
I agree, but do you subscribe to the mindset that as the individual quarterback, you should be smart when you take hits and why?
Absolutely. Yes.
That's all I'm trying to say.
It's got to be calculated.
You can be concerned about the quarterback's health and also, not run the motherfucker to the ground every fucking play.
Play calling plays a factor in that too.
I'll give you a perfect example. RG3. They knew that motherfucker was made of glass, and they kept running.
They ran him into the ground.
Throw in the damn towel.
But was he that good of a thrower though?
Then you take Cam Newton, who was an elite quarterback, fucking former MVP, who wasn't made of glass, and they kept running his ass QB power up the big gap. Takes a toll on you, and that's why you see niggas get cut.
He's streaming now.
When he's only 32 years old.
But Cam, also that was his greatest strength was QB power. So that was when he was at his best. So it's hard.
He was big as fuck too.
Like certain running backs have longer windows than others. Like if I'm just a guy like a Rex Burkhead, I could float around from teams and just be a third back running back for 10 years. Or am I a nigga that's running people over every play, like my man's in Green Bay, Thunder
AJ Dillon?
Thighs, and just racking up hits to my motherfucking noggin. Like, so that, you know, as an elite quarterback though, it's important for you to find a happy medium. Is all I'm saying. Lamar, I feel like does a great job of that. When he makes a few niggas miss, he literally avoids contact as best as he can, and oftentimes that ends with him on the ground just ducking his shit.
He plays well with that.
Tyler Lockett's another great guy.
He ain't even a quarterback.
He just be falling down when he catch that bitch.
Yeah, he said, fuck yak. I don't need it.
With the second pick right now, we're projected to have the second pick right now. Who are you drafting with it? Or are you trading back for multiple first round picks and maybe some more picks? What are you doing in this move?
Projected to have the second round pick, or do we have it?
We have it right now. As like if the draft was today, we would have it right now.
So we don't.
So it could change.
Yeah, it can change. Yeah, but our schedule's tough too, so we're probably gonna lose every.
We really need the fucking Steelers to lose that game, but they won.
No, the Steelers won, so they're 4-8, right? And then the Colts are 4-7-1, so we're 3-9.
We have the Steelers pick though.
Do we?
We have their second round pick.
No, I'm talking about the first pick.
We're talking about second round. We're talking about first round, dude.
Second round could be better than the first round, nigga. It's the NFL.
Shit.
Well, I think we should go Will Anderson. I mean, that's a guy that can literally be the cornerstone of your defense for the next 10 to 15 years. This guy is dominant, and he's an athlete.
If he's gonna be a Joey Bosa, he's gonna be a Watt type defensive end, or he's a game changer, I'm all for it. But I don't want
big ass difference between a Joey Bosa and Watt.
Yeah,
that's true.
Nick Bosa, maybe, but ain't shit like the Watt brothers. I'm sorry, they are the quintessential football players.
I'll take JJ there too, though.
Yeah, JJ Watt. I mean, for sure, they're the dudes. But even if you're talking about just Nick or Joey Bosa, I mean,
I'll take Nick in that conversation.
What I'm saying, like, obviously,
Nick in there.
Nick's never had 23 sacks in a year.
True enough.
Both Watt brothers did that shit back to back.
My point is this pick has to be special. Like, we have to make it count. And I'm not 100% sold on Will.
Who would you take then?
I like that cat from Georgia, number 88.
Oh yeah, he's nice.
Jalen Carter.
He's nice, but I don't know. Like, you pay attention to stats. His stats. He's more of a because I don't want him to turn out more like Trayvon Walker's doing his thing, but how much effect does he have on the game? Like, I feel like a Will Anderson will have more effect on the game.
Pass rusher is a game wrecker. He's one of the top paid players for a reason, because that's how you win games. Great quarterback, a guy who can get after a great quarterback.
Look at Micah Parsons, what he's doing with the Cowboys. He is really that defense.
And I think that's the best comparison to Will Anderson, if I'm being honest. It's like
Ooh, that's a
I
That's
have
a-
to sit
that's a
down.
strong
I have to
comparison.
watch.
he's probably not as fast, but he's long. He's lengthy. He's longer than Micah.
The difference maker with Micah isn't just that he's fast. Obviously, he's the fastest.
He's
pass
relentless
rusher in
too.
the league. He's relentless, but that relentlessness has everything to do with his stamina. Like I don't know about you guys, but I've actually rushed the passer for a full game, 60 minutes. That shit is fucking exhausting.
I know every play is full speed. It's your all.
That is. I've literally rushed the passer every single snap in a game against TCU, where all them niggas did was pass. So it's not necessarily, you have a motor. That's why you got to sit down and watch a full game of Will Anderson and say, all right, does he have a relentlessness? Like, what is the average effort he's giving up every single snap? Because I'm gonna be honest, I think the Eagles really fucked up drafting Jordan Davis. Now, he's a different type of cat. He's a D tackle, but the guy's got 0 sacks this year, and he went top 10.
He's been hurt too. That's
Been
why
hurt,
I picked
yeah.
up.
I'm worried about Will Anderson.
But if you
I'm worried
actually
about
watch the
Will
full game-
Anderson being a Jadeveon Clowney.
Why?
That's
I don't
what
know
I'm
any Jadeveons coming from Alabama. And I think you prioritize edge over the middle of your D line, anyways, just because the impact's greater.
It's a passing league too, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta rush the passer, and he's the best guy on the board. So whether he's a buster or not, we gotta take him.
Buddy, Deron Payne from the Commanders. I think that's a guy we can throw a lot of money to in free agency. That's some
Right.
guys that would change our defensive line. Can't go wrong with that. But let's look at the return. The return coming this week. A guy coming back from suspension, 11 games. It's finally over. The Browns just got a big dub against the Bucks. Deshaun Watson's coming back.
Huge win here against the who they beat, the Tampa Bay Bucks. I think they can. I really do. Deshaun Watson is going to need to shake off the rust. But, I mean, get that man a couple massages, it'd be good.
What?
I think he's
they gotta
banned.
be.
I think he's got to have his own massage place.
They have to be monitored massages.
But he just he'll be good.
But no, they can't. I mean, everybody's gonna have a winning record that goes this year, and they're 4-7, so they're gonna have to go on a more than just a run. But they have Super Bowl talent in that building.
They have the team. They have the weapons.
Amari Cooper is going crazy. Peoples Jones is a great receiver. And Njoku,
the tight end.
Baku. He looked like he from Wakanda and shit. So he's going crazy.
Shit. They got the Texans this week too, so that could be a great startup. Great confidence.
He finna blow their ass the fuck out. I'll go over on Deshaun Watson touchdowns and yards.
Okay. And I have some 6-man locks right there.
They can beat them.
Against his whole team, he gonna wanna blow their ass out. Or it could backfire. And he could try to
Texans, Bengals, Ravens, Saints, Commanders, and Steelers left. I don't see an L on that board. Right?
They could go on a run. They're gonna have to beat the Ravens and the Bengals. Those are gonna be 2 tough games. But you see the Ravens blow so many leads.
Man, I knew they were blowing that bitch. I could have guaranteed.
That's what I'm saying. Like
versus the Jags,
they blow every lead this year. And is that more so on Lamar, or is it more so on John Harbaugh?
Lamar told some dude to eat a dick. Like he was talking shit to him. He's like, "Hey man, eat a dick."
Yeah, say the same thing on Twitter too. Yeah, it's crazy. He gets sick and tired of it.
Does he get fined for
Yeah.
these
It's legit.
things?
Just words.
Yeah, I mean, probably get fined, but I mean that's the worst that happened to him.
So what do you think of this Buccaneers team though? After losing in overtime to a Browns,
It's still gonna win their division. I think though.
Still gonna win the division. Still gonna
Tristan
make a
Wirfs
run.
got hurt, but he'll be back in a couple weeks. So I think they gotta call Gronk, see what he's doing, see if he want to come back,
They'll
get the
be
offense
okay.
back up.
I don't know.
They will be
Shit,
fine.
Atlanta's a half a game out, and Tristan Wirfs. Hey, that's one way to fucking put Brady ass in the hospitals, beat up that old line because his fragile, no strawberry eating ass do not need to be behind a makeshift offensive line at this point in his career.
And the O line has
He's
been
gonna
back.
be throwing that bitch before he catch the snap. That's how fast he gonna be getting that bitch out his hand. You've seen it. He's getting faster with his release time over and over again. And you thought when they played Seattle and Germany, I was like, oh, they're gonna make the switch. They're gonna make that switch that they did the year that they won it all. And they haven't. That offense has been anemic.
Yeah.
And defensively, they haven't been that great either. Their defenses, some games, the game against the Ravens, you're seeing Devin White getting pushed back by Linderbaum a couple yards. There's been some games where the defense hasn't been playing at that level. But another team I want to talk about that's been struggling, it's been known struggle though, the Denver Broncos. You got a defensive tackle, Mike Purcell, yelling at Russell Wilson on the sidelines. They were saying, "Oh, he was saying, yeah, Broncos country, let's ride." He's like, "Stop saying that shit."
Yeah, I was talking to Julian about this earlier, and I was, basically saying Mike's been there for 3 years. He's been a part of the team. Granted, they haven't been winning the past 3 years, but we got this motherfucker out here scoring 3 points, and we can't listen to Future in the locker room. Oh hell no! This is ridiculous.
Man, those are the worst games to watch. Is the Denver Broncos game because their defense is so great, but their offense is so fucking horrible.
19 points. If they score 19 points in any of those losses, they would have won the game.
I feel like if you watch that clip again, that Russell Wilson said something smart to his ass, like, because dude is walking off the field and just looking at him, and I'm thinking like Russell Wilson just says like tries to be on that leader shit and says, "Hey, run off the field." And he just got out. He said that shit to the wrong nigga.
Quite possible.
Because in any other situation, Russell Wilson, voice of a leader, you probably listen to him. Nah, not this time.
You're losing because of you.
And
you can be as great of a leader as you want, but if you're not contributing, if you're not holding up your end of the bargain, we got nothing to believe in.
Well, what do the
Broncos? They've been
Broncos
impacted by injuries too.
Yeah,
and they had a lot of guys banged up.
Yeah, that's not
That's
true.
true.
Everybody has it. That's
That's
part
not
of the
an
game.
excuse.
Don't give me no injury shit. Everybody's got injuries.
Yeah, that's
Tim
true.
Patrick going out.
That's what coaching where coaching comes in. You got to be able to next guy up mentality. Look at the Titans. Look at the Niners. Every year they fucking losing guys left and right. I don't know how the fuck they be winning games sometimes.
As long as Jimmy don't go down, they win games.
That's not coaching, more as it's culture, which one would argue is synonymous.
Those are synonymous.
It's not necessarily, because then you got to take into account the ownership, front office, down to coaching. Because look at shit, Dallas's culture is a lot more different than fucking, in LA or Green Bay, and they don't even got no owner. They got shareholders and shit.
Are the Rams just saying fuck it?
Nah, I think they're done. Donald's down for another 3 to 4 weeks. Matthew Stafford. They're saying Allen Robinson's out for the season. Cup might be out for the year too. So they don't have much left to hold on to.
In for the season.
They don't have much to hold on to.
When you go say fuck them picks, you ain't got no young talent to rely on. These
year,
old heads be getting dinged up.
next year,
Multiple injuries.
It brings up a contentious, style of being a GM. Like, are you interested in trading your future away for one Super Bowl? Because that's essentially what they did. I mean, they don't have a single pick the next 2 years, and they don't have anybody to back it up for. Jalen Ramsey is getting beat on every fucking stat
by tight ends. Travis Kelce was eating his ass up.
Travis Kelce ain't a normal tight end though.
He's the greatest tight end of all time.
Jalen Ramsey shouldn't be a normal quarterback.
Right, but he should be.
That's true. That shouldn't be
time, but it's that generation.
We talked a little bit about the Green Bay Packers, though. You guys watched the game, the Sunday night game. What did you make of the game? Was the Eagles that good, or was it just the Packers just suck?
Nah, the Packers don't suck, and the Eagles are the best team in the league. That's what I saw out there, at least. I mean, you look at what Jalen Hurts is doing with that offense, the way they're going in each and every game, except for that Commanders loss. That was a tough loss, and I kind of called they were going to lose that. That was a bad loss. Yeah, I called before the game that the Commanders were going to win that game, and only because of how it was their time to lose. Look, it's really hard to go undefeated, and I just figured the Commanders were doing some good things defensively, and that's what happened. But you see, week over week, the Eagles are going to put themselves in position to win, and that's what you talk about culture. That's a winning culture, and it's a lot of credit to that head coach and a lot of credit to Jalen Hurts.
You're never going to see another team. You're never going to see another team run the table. We don't have a team that could possibly eclipse and be that much better than every other team. It's just not going to happen. You're going to have losses. You just are.
It's a long season too. Very long season.
Long season. Too many fucking injuries could happen. You literally need to have an unblemished injury report every single week to win.
Yeah, you're incredibly lucky.
And you gotta be lucky as shit. Because all these games this year have been one-score games. This has been the closest closest margin of victory ever in the NFL's history. So it's literally a coin flip. A lot of these games are decided by one play, a missed field goal here, a muff punt here, a sack here, a penalty on the wrong drive to extend the drive. Now they score. Shit is crazy.
Some of those roughing the passer calls.
I'll say this. I don't think we're that far away from college turning into that too. I don't think we're that far away from these big leagues not being so top heavy. When you have in the past, you had players on the third strings of these huge teams like LSU and Alabama, who would start immediately on an NFL roster.
Exactly, and make it all like this. Exactly, it eliminates them stockpiling recruits. Like, there's no reason why Bama should have four quarterbacks in the league, all in one, all starting in the league, but backing each other up. Same thing in the running back room, same thing in the DB room. Like, these guys should be able to play somewhere where they can make an immediate impact, not only for themselves, but those teams also. And then it levels the playing field for everyone else. That's
Josh Jacobs scored 48 points this week. I haven't even heard the
nigga. he only started like a year and a half at Bama, bro. He only got like a one full year of starting.
Bro, I've never heard of him before the NFL. And he's probably one of the fastest, most hardest people to tackle in the entire NFL.
Yeah, he had that one good year at Bama that last year.
Yeah, he started his junior year and left immediately after. So he was
He had a
only
good
there
year
for
that
like,
year though.
oh yeah, they won the Natty and
But he was on the
one of
team
the
with Alvin
faces.
Kamara. He was on the team
Yeah,
with Kenyon Drake, with Derrick Henry and all them boys. He was on that team.
right. And I
That's
think that's
insane.
gonna change.
Tell me how
Now
that
you're
shit
gonna see
compares.
teams like TCU and USC in Michigan now is one of the one of the faces of the playoff. And I think that's only good for business. You've seen Nick Saban frustrated with the NIL when it first happened, making claims that people were cheating.
You're taking money out his plate.
Of course, now he's literally hoarding recruits. Like, there's no reason why you should get 4 top 5 or 5 stars at one position. Like, come on, bro. Those guys could create legacies at a different school and make a huge impact. And yeah, it's the best thing for the players. And
Makes things more fair.
Creates a free market.
right.
Now, as a player who knows he's good at football, who knows he can ball, but he's sitting behind 2 other first-round picks. Like, I could just go through every single roster. I could go through Vanderbilt's roster. I could go through Minnesota's roster and just see, all right, this nigga has no carries, 0 yards. I'm going to Minnesota.
Exactly.
But that's all we got for the show, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys. Thank you to the Big Ten experts for coming on, and helping us explain some things, helping us understand things about the Big Ten, how dominant it is, playing defensive end. Julian brought up, how hard it is rushing the pass every single play, all the ideas they've been flowing for us, keeping the fans updated, all that stuff. I like the background changes. They look clean. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Keep up to date with the content on 6-Man Blitz at Twitter, on the Instagram, on the TikTok. We're going to keep pushing out content, college football, playoffs, all that stuff. So much shit is happening in sports, and we're going to keep talking about it. Thank you guys again. As always, peace.